Jack de Groot, CEO of Caritas Australia, thank you very much for your time. This has been an extraordinary online campaign, this Kony 2012. What have you made of it?
Well, I think it's an extraordinary, powerful film, the Kony 2012 film. It pulls at the heartstrings, and no wonder we're dealing with the reality of young children who've been kidnapped, turned into soldiers who've had to kill their own family members, and then when escaping from the Lord's Resistance Army that Joseph Kony founded, left abandoned, and NGOs coming in to work with them. So I think it's no wonder that the heartstrings are moved. I think that the focus is on this Joseph Kony, a man declared an international criminal nearly 20 years ago, who's not yet been brought to justice, defies understanding for most people, wondering how the world can let such a crazy individual kill thousands of people, terrify the countries of Uganda, Congo, South Sudan and Central African Republic, and yet he's still free. So I think all of those bewildering realities are what's behind the success of this. The other hand, what I don't understand is that this has been known for 25 years plus, and yet it's only really moving international attention because of this viral campaign of the last really 72 hours.
There have been some critics, Jack de Groot, that have suggested the campaign has oversimplified the conflict. Do you think that those criticisms have merit, or does the overall the benefits of this campaign outweigh any flaws that there might be?
Well, there are certainly flaws. This is an incredibly complex issue, and flaws in the documentary. But I think you're right in the question. There is an overwhelming good that is throwing light onto the plight of millions of people in northern Uganda, Congo, South Sudan, Central African Republic. That's got to be a good thing. The fact that whilst there are no longer an active Lord's Resistance Army in northern Uganda, and that's not explained in the film, is a deficit. However, the victims of that extraordinary conflict, nearly 2 million people who were displaced, who are now returning to their homes, who are without sustainable livelihoods, means that this campaign shows light on them. So it shows light on need, it shows light on the failure of the international criminal justice system, it throws light on the fact of Africa as being a forgotten and perhaps written down in a stereotypical way. Those issues are unfortunate, but if we can focus on the needs of the people who've been so appallingly affected by Kony's activities, well to the good.
This is obviously, as you've said, no surprise to you or others in this who work in this field, in the NGOs. But given the broader awareness and I suppose the greater international attention on Kony, how likely is it, do you think, that he will now be brought to justice, and that those in need will get the necessary resources that are so desperately and obviously needed in that country?
Well, I think there is hope that Kony will be brought to justice from this, just that global attention. Now over 40 million views or downloads of this YouTube video. I think that creates a groundswell of activism that politicians throughout the world will have to take notice of. Whatever the algorithm is that the YouTube people have on viral campaigns, this is an extraordinary one that will only grow in the coming days and weeks up to the 20th of April when the day of action is called for. So I think Kony's days are numbered. That's a good thing. The way Kony needs to be brought to justice, though, is incredibly important. The people of northern Uganda and into Congo, Sudan, Central African Republic don't need to see a vigilantism. They need to see this man brought to justice, because what is needed is a healing of these nations, a healing of the people, and a restoration in justice terms, not just punitive justice. So it's very important that the way Kony is brought before the International Criminal Court, that he is tried, and that the full story of what he has instituted in the way of heinous crimes is fully examined and then convicted on that basis. A sort of random act of violence against the man, unfortunately, will just mean that the sad situation is forgotten. The longer the justice process is brought to the world's attention, the better then for the people who are most affected by his actions over the last 25 years.
Jack de Groot, CEO of Caritas Australia, good to see you and thank you for your insights today.
Thank you very much, Kieran.